Question, what is the purpose of meditation? Is it to stay here and now? Is it no thinking? Is it no me? Is it emptiness? Somebody also saying, well, they do practice, most of their practice has been about dana, generosity, and sila, keeping the five precepts. Keeping the five precepts and recognizing thoughts and emotions arising, my reactions to them. Both of these have been helped, and have helped enormously with kindness and compassion. However, regular meditation is not so much a part of the practice it once was. Any advice about bringing it back into my regular practice would be appreciated. So, what's the purpose of meditation? Since there's nothing we can do, because in fact there's no me, why do we practice? What does practice mean, really? Since there's no me in Nibbana either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Citta is the agent. Citta is the agent of our life. Citta is the agent. That's where agency arises. Sense of I want to do something. Though it calls itself I, and the sense of agency of wish to do arises from citta. Mm-hmm. And why? Because citta seeks fulfillment, purpose, stability, comfort. Yeah, and so these natural interests and energies. Mm, and sometimes it gets more kind of evolved than that. Sometimes the chitta's, what's the purpose of life? What am I doing? You know, what's it all about? You know, where does it? Where's the fruition? What's the point exactly? Yeah. And so these are, or then could be, you know, what can I do about the world? What can I do about other people with their problems? So these are the kind of natural urges, agencies that we experience. And you know, so before we even think about dana, sila, anything, meditation, just chitta, what do you want to do? Whether there's a me or not, there's certainly a wish and desire. We're born in a desire realm. Everything desires something, you know. So then, really, you know, so anyone who wants to get clear about this, so it's not just this way, that way, this way, it's going. Anyone wants to actually get some focus on this experience of desire, you know. And desire can be, I would like to help people. I would like to live a happy life. I would like to discover something. I would like to be interested. You know, so there's always some, it's not bad. You know, of course, there are bad desires. I don't want to kill somebody, but so since there is this tremendous potential for desire, good, bad, all kinds of things that you can occupy with. Someone who's kind of seeking their own welfare and saying, wait a minute, what's really important in all this? I mean, I could be a policeman, I could be a doctor, I could be a monk, I could be a secretary, I could get married, I could have kids, I could, you know, all kinds of things. I could get involved with computers or computer games or play football. You know, what really is going to be for my welfare? So someone who seeks their welfare, I'm going to really get some focus on this. Just go anywhere, get some focus on this. So that's kind of what meditation begins with, that wish to understand. And saying, well, if if my attention's just scattering here and there, I can't really get much of a focus. And if I change my mind to go this way and that way, and I think I'll do this, no, I think I'll do that, no, I don't want to do this, what everybody else, then it just gets confusing. So I need to stabilize attention. I need to actually examine desire, so intentions. What's really useful? And mm, and what goes the furthest? What goes the long way? What is really useful, purposeful? You know? So this is kind of the background of cultivation. And sometimes it's because can happen to people because they meet death. I nearly died. I was in a crash and nearly died. My goodness, what's it about? Or, you know, my cousin died, or my wife died, or, my goodness, what's it about? What's all this? What am I doing? So these things called devadutas, heavenly messages, kind of shake you up a bit. You just can't go, get focused. So, well, when do I do that? So, so how do I do this? Well, so this also says there, can you just hold your attention steady? Well, what on? What should I hold it on? Well, try the thing you're living with. Well, right. Now what feels helpful? Well, it's kind of just feel kind of restless and itchy, get comfortable. Mm. And then just that sense of finding some stability, and you begin to witness, because that's what it does. Get stability, that then chitta is a thought, is a desire. This one goes that way, this one goes that way. This one just goes whoop, 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 fades out. This one goes nowhere really useful. Let's get to the point here. Let's get to the point. What's for my welfare? And anyone who contemplates this recognizes, well, I think what's really for my welfare is to get my mind sorted out. Because it can go crazy and strange and really some really stupid desires can come up. So I get my mind sorted out. Okay, that's called meditation. That's why. Um, and as you take that on, then gradually you begin to recognize certain kind of things you believed in, things you thought were the way they are, suddenly don't seem so true anymore. It seems, because things, the sense of happiness. It's kind of like you realize the happiness of just busy, glittery things, doesn't really feel that great anymore. And you thought it was going to get you somewhere. No, it doesn't really, does it? So wisdom arises. Mm. And so this is the way it goes, yeah. So, mm. So if you get some sense of enjoying generosity and virtue, it's because there's a desire, yeah, good desire. I I really want to do this. I feel good. It gives me a good way of living. I feel happy and gives people welfare. I'm happy. Great, good. And sila, and begin to recognize the kind of various ways in which even things like kind of not very clear speech or even unpleasant thoughts, holding bad opinions about people, this isn't so good, you know. So good, that's it. And then where how that comes into meditation is, where does all this come from? Where do these thoughts come from? Where do these um, where does a sense of wanting to help, where does that come from? Why is it important to know that? Why is it important to know that? So I can appreciate the source of goodness and I can discern the source of evil. And get right back to the source of evil or unkindness. And just take that out. Good. So then introspection. Introspection, it means sometime we're going to have to sit down and instead of acting, you review. You Instead of doing good, you review, where does it come from? Yeah. And what happens when I sit still and contemplate these qualities and where they come from and how it is for other people, and, what my purpose in life is. These are not questions that we can answer by thought. They're emotional questions, they're heart questions. Mm. Mm. And something where we feel interested in this and not interested in that. Now, you can't say, okay, now you should be interested in meditating because you're a Buddhist or other people do it. That's not going to do it. Yeah. You're interested in your own welfare and you're interested in developing as much skill as you can for other people's welfare. That's beautiful. So let's take some time just steadying, clarifying, acting clearly. This means sometimes you're going to sit down and what's going on. And to get that stability, you're probably going to have to sit still, take a few breaths, and then look inwardly. And then you'll be meditating. Whether you call it meditation or what you do call it, that's what you'll be doing bhavana. You'll be doing cultivation, you'll be doing wisdom, you'll be doing collectedness, you'll be doing these things. And why? Because there's some fundamental faith. Things could be better. Yeah. Things could be better. There is a purpose. Things could be better. Yeah. Otherwise, why bother to do anything? But we do. Mm. Now, if you don't have that faith, things couldn't be better. What's that feel like? It's kind of deadly, really, depressing. But you say, well, I can't change him and I can't change that state, but I can change this, so I'll do this. And that make my chitta, my heart, my mind steadier, clearer, stronger, and less and more serene. Then you're doing bhavana. And then you can look, well, hey, can you give me some advice on how to do that? Yeah. Because, I don't know if I can do it. I'm ready for it. So if you're interested in really being fully alive, you can do it. And one of the things that we that acts as something that stops that is the sense of me. I'm this. I'm only this. This is the way it is. It's like it stops. It stops the process of inquiry and penetration. Um, so then again, we inquire, well, what is this sense of me? Is this me? I don't think so, because there it is, If I take a toe off, there's still plenty of me left. So this isn't me. So what is me? Then say my mind is me. Your mind is me, yeah? So is it the happy mind or the angry mind or the upset mind? They're rather different, aren't they? Which one is you? Well, I'm all of them. Oh, where did you learn so much? Only to be so many different things. And you notice that all of them arise and pass. So where did you go when they passed? Well, if you're a thought, what happens when the thought passes? Where are you? Did you stop existing? No. Next thought comes up. So you're this one now. This is me too. This thought is me. So when that thought disappears, do you disappear? No, I'm still here. So thought's not me either, is it? When you get a tremendous feeling, yeah, I'm really this kind of person. This is what I am. I'm a happy person or a brilliant, intelligent person. What happens when that state goes, when that changes? Do you stop existing? No, you're still there. So you're not any state of mind, any thought, any emotion, you're not that. So what are you then? It's me. So since we can't really find this me, why do we have to keep using the word? Why don't we just tell the truth instead, which is thoughts arise and pass, emotions arise and pass, sensations arise and pass, feelings, this visual consciousness arises and passes, sounds arise and pass. Just tell the truth. You don't have to say there is me. You don't have to say there isn't me. Just say what there is and let the rest of it go. Mm. Mm. So, of course, so we can also say, what's the aim of meditation? Or finally, the aim of cultivation? Uh, it's this dispelling ignorance, not being ignorant anymore, being clear, the clarity of chitta, release of chitta from compulsive habits. Do you ever find that you're doing things compulsively for just because it's 6 o'clock, I do this. Why? Well, compulsive habits, or you know, So it's the aim of the practice is clarity, and then this um, release from habits, from karma, habitual karma. This sounds very technical, but just think of it as freedom. The name of meditation is freedom. Freedom from being carrying weight, a burden, compulsion, sadness, grief, loss, up and down, freedom from that. That's the final aim of meditation. Mm. I've been practicing for a long time, but in recent years I feel that I have reached a plateau and have not made much progress. Please, could you advise? Should I simply trust in the process and continue as I have been doing, or are there any measures or steps that you would recommend? I'd recommend you give some attention to this feeling, this mood, this impression of not making progress. What does that feel like? Maybe frustrating, or maybe a little bit doubt, slightly bored. Not pleasant, is it? Yeah, I'm not making any progress. Well, this is what practice takes you to these places. Your practice takes you to these places where doubt arises, where uh, frustration frustration arises, where we want something to happen, where we feel we should be making progress. We don't quite know what it is, but there's some sense of what no, it's it. So this is then you investigate. You investigate what is the feeling in the mood, not making progress. Feel frustrated. Okay, open, then contemplate frustration. Feel maybe a doubt, uncertainty. I don't know if this is going to work. Contemplate doubt. This is what doubt feels like. Frustration feels like. Contemplate the idea of progress. Progress means, yeah, going, oh, nice. Contemplate that. That's happening now. Right? Contemplate that. These are all subtle forms of mental phenomena, heart phenomena. Yeah. And as you contemplate them, just open space around them, and they will, and then you see, oh, what it needs to be done now is to let go of these phenomena. Mm. Mm. If there's no such, if there is no idea of progress, then there's no frustration. So perhaps that idea itself is a problem. Maybe it's more like I'm feeling stale, bored, going through the same old routine practice day after day, stale, bored, not really. Losing some interest, losing some chanda, losing some vigor in it, losing some energy in it. Yeah, okay. Contemplate that, and now bring your energy into inquiring into desire and the frustration of desire. and requiring into losing some real clarity in the here and now about the citta. So with meditation, it's a construction, isn't it? Yeah, we decide, I will sit, I will do breathing, I will do mantra, I will do this. We construct something, yeah. It's a sankhara, it's a construction. And all constructions are unsatisfactory, and all constructions are impermanent. There comes a point when the construction of meditation itself becomes a kind of dead end. Here we are again. And then you start inquiring, and you realize, oh, this is taking meditation just a little bit deeper, beyond the construction into just pure, aware inquiry, meeting, frustration, disappointment, eagerness, loss of faith, meeting these qualities. And these too are of the nature to arise and pass. Now, this very often repeated phrase, things arise and pass, yes. Why do I say it like that? Because you only really arise and pass when you clearly focus on them. Otherwise, they just keep kind of recycling. Here it is again. It seems like a permanent state. You put focus on it. This is the sense of citta moving, stirring, tensing, sinking. And then I can be with this. There can be awareness of these sankharas, these forms, these citta inclinations. And they begin to see them more clearly. Yeah. It's rather like we have a cloth, cloth, solid piece of cloth, and then you start to, wait a minute, it's actually all kinds of threads, but you didn't really see them. It seemed like a solid thing. Then you begin to look at it more clearly and just, oh, it's actually made of threads woven, sewn together. Now, it always was, but you didn't know that until you looked at it, till you really explored it. So much occurs because of the attention is not very sharp, not very clear. So we say, just forget the word meditation aside for one moment. Just look attention into the nature of an emotion, how it moves and stirs, and how it creates pressure, how the citta gets drawn towards it, how it swells, and how it gives rise to thoughts. It's that. Yeah. Now, actually, by fully examining things with dispassion, not trying to make it one way or another, there is these emotions and movements begin to untangle by themselves. They do it by themselves. They reveal themselves. You don't have to push them away. They reveal themselves. They untangle themselves. This is just a little bit of twisted up confusion. Just, where does darkness go when we switch the light on? Do we have to run around the room throwing the darkness out? Or do you just turn the light on? Oh, I didn't realize all these people are in here. Where do they come from? So it's rather like that. You just deepen your attention to what is happening. Mm. And so, and again, to use this perspective, when things are called me and I, they're covered. There's something covering them. So whatever we take as me, it's okay. Let's really look at. I'm not making any progress. Let's look into that. Mm. There's desire and wanting and confusion. What is that? Now there is no confusion. I'm very clear about the nature of confusion. It's like this, and, yeah, and dispassion occurs, and the condition can unravel, but it requires that steady focus of wisdom. So we can, as you begin to understand contemplation, you can sit in a chair, you can walk up and down, you can take a few moments, and you just look for the signs, look for the things that disturb you. What's going on? You look for things that disturb you or disappoint you. What's that? If it's disappointing me, what did I expect? Where did that come from? Oh, you understand? When I reach to a certain level of samadhi, shall I start to contemplate the truth, like impermanence, or I don't need to do anything? Panya, wisdom, will kind of come by itself. Yeah, that's any of that when you feel steady and stable. And there probably could be this feeling of, well, now what? And there's this. So then, as with everything, you viveka and kind of step back and, okay, this is rather fine, it's okay. And it's a sense of what now? Could I relinquish what now and see what happens? So this quality of inquiry, Dhamma is a powerful enlightenment factor. It is the cutting edge. It's the leader of wisdom, as it takes wisdom into things. It takes wisdom into this stuff in your life. Wisdom's not remote. It takes the wisdom. It takes it right into the mood you're having now. That's Dhamma. So it's like, so nothing, no mood is allowed to take over, saying, what's this? And inquire. So that sense of samadhi, great, very good, peaceful. So we inquire, is this lasting? Where did it come from? Where does it belong to me? Am I somewhere? Or is it just the state? So just kind of keep that gentle inquiry into any phenomenon as to where is there any attachment to it, clinging? In order to practice the parami, we dwell on each of the parami one by one. Is that what we do? I'm not aiming for Buddhahood, but So do I still have to do this parami stuff? I think, well, it's just a useful way to tackle a day, I think. I don't know about Buddhahood, but it gives you some really good um, points of practice in daily life. That's why I think it is so common, so helpful. So yeah, so clearly in daily life there can be things that are just like people. The sila gets a little bit casual, like, well, just one beer, whatever, one beer is okay. I mean, let's not get drunk. One beer. Everybody else is having a beer. It's friendly. Have a beer. Uh-oh. No, I'm doing sila. So I want to be someone who actually enjoys and makes sila bright. And then why? Because the mind is then very stable. And when you have sila, you can recognize these voices saying, "No, it doesn't really matter. Oh, everybody else is doing this. Ah, well, what's the point?" And that voice is your enemy because that voice is going to, you gradually lose the strength and the clarity. Yeah. And then you're cultivating sila. That's that. And then you recognize if I start condemning other people for not doing what I'm doing, that's also a breach of my sila, right? Because this is projecting unskillful thoughts. So you take sila kind of quite deeply, not just the five precepts, but any kind of hostility or contempt or dismissiveness. That's not right. Shouldn't just, it's not right. So, because there's plenty of opportunities to act like that, and a lot of people are doing that. So, no, this gives me a very clear way through this fuzzy moral haze that that human beings live in. Moral haze. Like, well, it's just, you know. So that's a good one. And then obviously patience is enormously important because life is pretty frustrating. You know, things don't go as quickly as you'd like. Some things go too fast, things go quickly, obstacles appear, people argue, we're waiting around for something to turn up. Why are they so stupid and inconsiderate? Da, 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 da. Patient. Oh yeah, thank you. Give me an opportunity to be patient. Thank you very much. Because when I'm patient, I just get really spacious, steady. And that gives me a very good place to live. Very good place to live. Where, instead of getting, oh no, upset and frustrated and stamping my feet and getting annoyed, and patient. It's patient. If you're sick, be patient. When you're dealing with somebody who's really irritating, be patient. Yeah, and when your own mind is irritating, be patient. And so you've got plenty of. This is a good one to have as a reminder. Mm. So there are many of these. Be truthful. Be truthful. Now, if you say, well, it just means don't tell lies. Yeah. Uh, it also means things like I say, well, you're always doing this, you always do that. No, actually, that's not completely true. That's me being angry. That's the truth. If I say, well, you're like this and you're like that, you sure? That's me being angry, isn't it? Tell the truth, right? And you're making me angry. You're so irritating. You're making me angry. Tell the truth. I'm getting angry. So it just keeps bringing it back. Look, take responsibility, right? Come to where the world arises, not out there. The world arises here. So get there and tell the truth. Yeah, yeah. Is it the truth that the world is set up to make you comfortable? No. So why are you getting upset when it isn't comfortable? Is it true that other people were designed to make you happy? No. So why are you getting upset when they disappoint you? Tell the truth. Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm getting annoyed, and tell the truth. There's irritation. Not even I'm getting annoyed. There's irritability. It just gets irritable. Um, and then the beginning. Oh, this leads to compassion, doesn't it? And just okay. She gets irritable. He gets irritable. I get irritable. Equanimity. We're all like this. Compassion. So these things can, well, yes, these key qualities can help you to turn life situations around into possibilities for insight and clarification and realization. And there's a so I mean, example, patience is a big one. Luangpor Cha, I mean, that was basically that was it. That was the teaching. And a very, very tough situation, very austere and hot and bad food and mosquitoes and only get one drink a week, kind of thing, drinking rainwater, nothing else. And it's like, I can't stand it. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Yeah. And then there's one of these adjuncts, I just can't stand it. I just can't stand it anymore. And this other friend said, can you just stay for 10 more minutes? Okay, I can stay 10 more minutes. Mm, okay. Can you just get through the day? Okay. And gradually getting stronger, stronger, and stronger, and stronger. And that's what it's about. Yeah. And, yeah. Mhm. And it's like no time limit. One of his venerable elders, when he was a young monk, he took ordination, like maybe for the Vasa or for the rains or for a year. And okay, that's enough. That's enough of this. So I'll take leave. So he gets the flowers and the candles. And he gets his bag with his jeans and t-shirt in it. Goes, I'll come take leave of, oh, I'm Paul. So grateful. Thank you very much. Beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I'll take leave now. The Paul says, no, you can't. But go back to your kuti. So next year he tries again. Unfortunately, says, no, you can't. Can't leave. Stay. He said, okay, goes back again. And they get to the point where he'd go, and the poor child would see him coming, and he'd just walk out of his kuti and disappear. So the benefit eventually gave up. And then 50 years later, this is this is kind of really good, strong bhikkhu, Mahatera, so with a lot of understanding. So Luangpor Sucitto obviously could see there's something good in this person. He just needs to, you know, just stay with it until something begins to open and let go, you know. And you don't know. You don't know it until it opens. You just don't know. We easily think we can easily think we're less than we are. That's all I can do. Give it 3 more minutes. Hmm. Give it 5 more minutes. Another bit. And something begins to open up. Yeah, I can be with things that are unpleasant. And that's, you know, it's nice to be with things that are pleasant, but it's really powerful to be with things that are unpleasant. That's where you get, that's where you cross over. Does Avijja mostly refer to the illusion of selfhood? Yeah, you could say that, yeah. I mean, these are all different ways of talking about it. Avijja, the illusion of selfhood. And the viveka of greed and aversion, so stepping back from greed and aversion, gradually chip away at them to complete elimination. So by just stepping back from greed and aversion, does that gradually reduce them? Or does one also have to see through certain delusions, for example, the self, to uproot their latent tendencies? Okay, so that's quite a deep question. So, let's put aside selfhood for a moment, but if experiencing greed or aversion, you know, so we kind of don't react to it, don't believe in it, don't react to it, step back. You feel this energy of greed or aversion. Now that already is beginning to reduce the sense of self. Not because you're aiming to, just because stepping back from a phenomenon means that I'm no longer the phenomenon, I'm watching the phenomenon, right? I'm no longer the greed, I'm an awareness contemplating greed, right? And maybe I don't like greed or I feel ashamed of it, but let go of that. Here it is. Everybody gets this. So there's quite a lot can be released just in being able to be truthful. Greed is greed, and it's like this. And, and I'm not following it, nor am I denying its existence, and then it sort of flare up, but then it begins to fade out. Because what you begin to understand is that if these tendencies are not um, adopted, if they're not fed, if they're not clung to, if they're not, we don't get agitated around them, they lose food. They lose the food of energy. And then the energy, they're not getting food. So they sort of begin to wither away. And that energy comes through bonding to the phenomenon, bonding to it. And if you don't bond to it, the energy doesn't go into it. Right? So it doesn't keep going, it just withers away. Mm. Yeah. So this is, one level of practice. Then take it a bit deeper. Where does it come from? Where does greed come from? What's its source? What's its origin? Mm. Origin is I don't have enough. I could get some more. Then I will be complete. I don't have enough. I can get some more, then I'll be happy. Comes from that. So then the inquiry goes into, well, this sense of, I don't have enough. I could get more. Let's look into that. I mean, sense not, there's no I there. There's a sense of darkness or inadequacy or, uh, feeling emptiness. Not good emptiness, but a feeling of desolate or barren or dull. That's not a self. That's a dark place. Yes. And so, but now, we can feel this feeling of an unpleasant emptiness, right? Darkness. Now, if you turn your attention to it carefully, what will happen if you don't believe in it, don't call it myself, don't think this is me, or I'm in this state, but just there is this dark, blank, bleak condition. We hold it carefully, that quality begins to put energy into it and starts to lift and starts to clear. It no longer drags, and energy goes into places that need it to be fed. Like the heart chitta gets holes in it. It's like it gets blank spots and holes. And what is needed is to put light into darkness, to put presence into absence, to put togetherness into things that we abandon. Right? Right? Bits, oh, no, I'm fed up. No, that's the one you want to put presence into. Yeah. So parts of yourself you might not like very much. When I get fed up and bored and depressed, don't like that. Yeah. But you want to get the stability to, okay, can I hold that steadily and not do anything other than just hold it steadily, maybe with some compassion. And that process itself, the citta begins to heal itself. And the citta begins to heal itself. Where there was a hole, where there was darkness, it begins to heal itself and light comes in. And things lift. Things even out. Yeah, and we feel, oh, that's gone. Mm. Citta's behind everything. Citta's in everything. Anything you feel on a subtle level, anything you imagine on a subtle level, even vague senses, they're all citta, they're all there. Yeah. Now, people sometimes want to abandon parts of themselves they don't like. They want to abandon it. Pathetic, stupid failure. No, you're abandoning your citta. So the dark places or the sad places are things you take some strength to turn towards and welcome. Welcome. That's what's needed. Basically, so often it just comes down to that simple word love. Unsentimental, never give up on yourself. Never give up. Doesn't mean you have to be different, just be very present with how it is in a clear, compassionate way. Then these illusions, selfhood, these deficits, these empty places, these broken-hearted bits, they all begin to mend. Just like if you cut the body, it will heal. It will heal. You don't have to make it. Right. Well, okay, that's enough for tonight. Let's take a few moments, if you will, just turn on anything that's been useful. You want to remember, maybe one or 2 points. Just even 1 or 2 points. Just stay with that and let yourself digest. So the teaching, it's like it needs quite a bit of silence around it to digest it. And then it goes in, then comes that one. Okay, what do I want to do now? How's that affected me? The points that meant something to me, how does that affect me? Does it encourage me? Give me something I want to work with? Then okay, that's my piece for today.